Hi, I am sitting with Chris. Chris and I know each other from past 20, 25 years or so. We had worked together way back, and uh, and since then we were in touch. But this time we again worked together. When I had done the book, my writing process was over, and I was working on design the book and finding the publisher and so on and so forth. During that time, Chris and I spoke, and Chris came to the rescue. I was using AI to do the designs, did multiple designs, and then showed that to Chris, saying that, hey, this is my thinking. One of the shortlist, which I'll put on the screen later, was a red color design with Venn diagram, because to me that was communicating everything which I wanted to communicate from a messaging point of view, not from a so much from a creative point of view, because my angle was more messaging, and which Chris, you happily rejected, and gladly so, because this one which has come out is superb, and everybody has appreciated the design. So thank you very much for doing what you did. And but before we start talking about Silent Veto or the design process, it'll be good if you can talk a little about your journey, your background, your American dream background also, and then we'll move forward.
First of all, congratulations, Ritesh, for the book.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for bouncing off, thinking of me as your collaborator, as your thinking partner, design partner, trusted my instincts on the design feedback. Because when you share those designs, they all conceptually work. I will get to my background in a minute. But before that, I wanted to just say that, touch upon on that, that you just mentioned, that all the concepts work, but I think I felt that your book needed something, a hook, something special. So, anyways, my design journey actually started in India, back in India, in advertising. I've worked for many years in advertising in Ogilvy as art director, then creative director, building brands, nurturing brands. And after all those years, I realized that I wanted something more, practice something more purer form of design, graphic design. So I decided to come to US and pursue my master's in design. And soon after, I worked for IDEO, I worked for Google, and my last role was at Google as a visual designer, shaping digital products for billions of users. And very recently, I quit Google to start my own. It's called Glass Half Full. It's again a design studio and helping friends like you.
Perfect. So, just for people to know, a lot of Google Pay work that resonates well in India, people understand that well, is Chris's work. She has done a lot of it on Google Pay, and similarly there are many, but I think Google Pay is easy to understand for many. So, Chris, when I approached you for the book and you saw my piece of art, which I used AI to design, what gave you the inspiration to do redaction as a design, and what all did you had you selected? So redaction was the final one. You must have shortlisted 2-3 different options and then landed on redaction. What became your inspiration to finalize redaction?
Yeah, I think all the designs that you generated with AI, those were very helpful, by the way, because I think those were like in design, we have this term called monkey ideas, because initial
do we have?
monkey ideas.
Monkey ideas,
Yeah.
okay.
So basically, initial ideas are ideas that you think about, but then you throw away, right? So I think that those ideas were monkey ideas.
Interesting.
Because
Okay.
Because what happens in a design process, the first ideas that actually come are very surface level. When you start immersing yourself in the topic more and more, that's when the real ideas come. So as when I saw your ideas, they all were conceptually strong, they were there, they were kind of doing the message. But then we have to go back to the core purpose of a book cover design, right? The cover design role is not to tell a story, that's what your book is doing. The cover design role is to stop the audience, get them hooked, create a mystery around the topic, and have them read the book. So that was my idea, that I don't need to tell a story by the book cover design. I just need to, somehow stop them with the design and communicate what your book is all about. Almost like create a personality for your book, right? Because this is the personality of your book. This is the personality of your story.
I think this design has done the job well, because when the book got listed on Amazon in India, in the first 2 weeks it was trending as a bestseller, and it was trending amongst the best. I mean, for sure people were reading the context, but design was attractive enough for people to delve deeper and understand. So yeah, so design has done a very good job on that front, and people have spoken with my friends and so forth. Everybody, a lot of people has appreciated the design. So thank you for doing a great job.
I think redaction is a very universal and a very simple thing to understand, and it resonates because we see or we stumble upon so much redaction these days related to agreements, related to legal, related to politics. It is one of the hottest design element, I feel, and it is very relevant. So it's kind of touching on that pulse for people, right? When they see redaction, they know, oh my God, there is something hidden there, right? Because it is not like a surface level graphic element that just tells a story. There is so much, a redaction element has so much beneath it. It means that something is hidden, and so does your title. Your title also says a silent veto. What is it being silenced? What is it that we are not telling? So I think they kind of complement each other.
Was redaction your only choice, or you had other thoughts in your head and redaction was shortlisted to become what it became?
Of course, I mean, I had other choices. Like, whenever we think of topics like these, there are so many different graphic elements or different visual elements that come to your mind. Chessboard and, things like, two legal, people in silhouette, and there are these seals and stamps and confidential marks and all of that things, right? So, but those things are so old school that it feels less relevant, one. And two, we have seen those elements many times, like either through book covers or through some other form of communication. So I think that the freshness of redaction, even though it's a popular graphic element, somehow was needed for this book, and I think that comes through from this cover.
Chris, it'll be good if you can talk more about the color selection, the font selection, why you did what you did.
Yeah, Ritesh, I mean, like I mentioned, like when I started designing this book, I started with the restriction part, right? Like what not to do. I think part of the restriction was also selecting the color palette, the typography, and I think I had a lot of fun because when you're designing or when you're trying to be playful with a concept, keeping the restriction in mind, it is hard, but it is also a lot of fun. Because that you have a limited color palette. So the reason why I kept it limited, because I think I wanted to use the color to bring focus, and hence we use the red, which is, it draws attention to the veto part. And then everything else around is like very monochromatic, very like black and white, so to speak. It's not exactly white because white looks very clinical, so I wanted to like evoke that legal paper, legal document kind of a color, right, which is slightly yellowish in color, so I wanted to use that color. And then black, of course, is like anything legal is like very black and white. Black and white. And black and white also has a symbolic meaning to it. Like things are not black and white as they seem, right? There are so many things, so many gray areas. So yes, that was one of the decision. And in terms of the
Font.
the typography, like if you see every legal document, they use very restricted type choices, right? They don't use like really fancy typefaces. It's very strict. It's very seriousness. So I wanted to evoke that seriousness of the topic. Hence, I use like it's called a serif font with a combination of sans serif font for the subtitle and also for your name, because it kind of plays as a contrast between the two. So that was my design process.
Interesting. So I think thank you, Chris, once again for doing what you did.
Yeah.
And looking forward to more work from you, from Glass Half Full. in India and abroad. Obviously, US is your hometown,
Now,
so you'll
yes.
do more. And the new work which you showed me, which you're doing for someone in India, I'm just loving it. Love the
That's coming up
yeah, yeah. I think we'll talk about it when that comes. But yeah, it's thank you so much for it.
Thank you. My pleasure.